Hello traders, welcome back to the last video of this particular strategy. This may be the one of the last video of this particular course, but it is one of the most important topic which we're going to cover about the strategy. See, we have learned many things. We learn about the basics, then we learn about the strategy, but now we're moving towards the last part, that is the risk management, money management, position sizing, how you'll be increasing the quantities, when to increase the quantities, how you'll be doing the trailing method, when to book the profits, when to go for the trailing method. Each and every part will be covered in this particular uh, lesson. Now, when you talk about the pyramid, right? So consider any strategy in part of pyramid. This is how I actually decide if the strategy is good or bad. Okay. So the first thing what we know, what we have to learn about the strategy is the basics. So we also learn that. We learn the price action, then we also learn about the options concept. After that, we learn the strategy itself, right? When to enter. As per the price action, we require that small halt and then we'll be taking the trades, right? So we learn that part as well. Now, the last part, which is the top of the pyramid, and we all know the top of the pyramid is the most important part, right? So here we're gonna understand about the risk management and the money management concept. This is which we feel is the personally the most important, right? So we have to see how this is gonna do. So only in that case, if you follow this completely, you'll be seeing the results. If you start messing up with the risk management, no matter how good the strategy is, no matter how good result I obtain, and this is not something which is like extraordinary result, right? This is something like very ordinary results which each and every individual can easily attain if he can follow this particular rules. Okay, so let's start with the risk management and money management concept. So first we'll start with the risk to reward, right? RR ratio. So I have never talked about the RR ratio about this particular strategy. So now we're going to talk in more detail about it. So first thing, what is risk to reward? Okay, so I assume a lot of people might be knowing it, but still I'm going to explain it one more time. See, what is risk to reward? It means once you place a trade, right? If you feel that market is going to go up, so you might go buy, right? But every time there is a chance that market might fall down. So if market might start falling down, you'll be starting making some losses. But if the market goes up, you'll starting seeing some gain, or you can say some profits, right? So we have to see here how much profit you'll get. On the other hand, how much losses you'll be making if that trade goes wrong. Okay, so for example, here I see I got a good buying opportunity, and if market really goes up, I might make 100 rupees, right? So this is what I say as a reward. But on the other hand, I also have to see if in case market goes against me, at some point I'll understand that whatever view I kept was wrong. So it's really good to exit that position and not to hold it in some sort of what we say emotional belief that it might reverse. Okay, so that is we call as a risk, and it might be, let's say it might be 100 rupees. So here we call it as a 1:1. I might lose 100 rupees in this particular trade, or else I might win 100 rupees. So risk to reward becomes 1:1, right? But let's say in some other scenario, right? If I can see if the market goes up and I'm targeting minimum of 200 rupees as a profit, right? But if in case market goes against me, I'll be losing 100 rupees. So that will call as a 1:2 risk to reward, because I'll be making 100 rupees. Sorry, I'll be losing 100 rupees, but if I gain, I'll be making at least 200 rupees. So this is what we call as a risk to reward. Okay. Now, particularly talking about this strategy will be starting from very basic, that is 1:1. And now a lot of people who might be following big traders or maybe reading a lot of books, they might be saying, no, that won't work. You should at least start with 1:2. See, my dear friend, see, if you're doing some sort of swing trading or maybe holding trades, in that case, definitely you'll be requiring 1:2 trades. Okay. But for intraday purpose, if you really want to make good profit and stay consistent, in that case, 1:1 will also do the path. Only one thing, if the accuracy is good. Like for example, if the accuracy is 50% of your whatever setup you're using, in that case, 1:1 will never work, because 5 trades will win, right? And 5 trades will go in losses. So overall will become 0 plus taxes and brokerages, right? But let's say your accuracy is 80% of whatever strategy you're using. In that case, even if you go with RR of 1:1, right? Here you'll be making positive 8 trades and negative 2 trades. So still you'll be like plus 6. And our strategy is like more than 80% of accuracy. So in that case, you have to be very good regarding the trades. You don't have to take like normal scalper. The people feel that they might be taking 10 or 20 trades. No dear. You have to only take 1 to 2 or max 3 trades in a day, and that is still more than sufficient. And I'll explain, even doing only 2 trades, still you'll be making more than 60 to 80% of your invested capital. I'll show the example, don't worry. So Here, when you talk about risk to reward, if risk to reward is small, it cannot be lower than 1:1, definitely, right? But on the lower part, it should be minimum 1:1, and I'm taking that on the lower side. But if the accuracy is good, it will never be it won't be a point of worry even if you're getting 1:1 risk to reward. Okay. So in other hand, if you got like 1:2 trades, definitely will be acting good. In this particular strategy, I initially started booking 1:1 and then I started trailing where I got 1:2, 1:5, 1:8 trades as well. Okay. And I'm not saying once in a while, you get it very often. So don't worry about risk to reward, just follow what risk management I'm trying to teach you here. So the first thing, everybody like including me will be starting as considering that we are the beginners, right? So as a beginner, we always have to focus on first, that is whatever investment we are doing, we have to first take it out from the market. And second thing is to build some sort of cushion. What do I mean by cushion? A cushion is something like extra profits which we have, which we actually collected from the market itself, so that we can use the same amount if in case some losses gets occurred. So for example, let's say you start with 1 lakh rupees. So first your aim will be to first at least book 1 lakh rupees profit from the market and remove all this capital outside of the demat account. So now your mindset will change. See, these things will be acting on the backside. You will be never seeing it in the real life. Okay, real life means you will be not realizing it. It will be acting on from the backside. So what happens? You're initially using your real amount, that is from your bank account. You'll be using 1 lakh, and once you start making small profit, you'll be collecting it, and definitely at some point it will be plus 1 lakh. So that means whatever investment you did in the market, now it is completely out of the market. Now whatever 1 lakh is left, that will be your pure profits, right? Because from 1 lakh you made another 1 lakh, that becomes 2 lakh, out of which you removed 1 lakh, which was your investment amount. Now whatever you left with is only the profits. So the emotions, the psychology, everything will change. So emotional attachment will reduce. So the capacity of taking profits or loss will definitely will increase. Okay. Now moving towards the second part. What is the cushion? See, I already told from 1 lakh amount you made 1 lakh of profit. But that doesn't mean you will be stopping there, right? You'll be still continuing trading on the same setup. So let's say you made somewhere like 50,000 of plus amount. Okay. Now what is 50k? 50,000 is the plus amount which you made using the same strategy, using the same capital, right? That is 1 lakh capital. So what does that mean? Now you got your investment back from the market, so you got no worries. Second thing, you also got some profit cushion. So let's say when you're increasing the quantities, some profit losses might happen. In that case, it shouldn't happen that you're not having capital to take the trade. So in that case, this 50,000 will be acting as a cushion. So that even if you, let's say you start with some losses, 1 or 2 trades goes in losses. So that losses will not force you to reduce the quantities. The quantities should be always in a linear manner. That means it should be equal for all the trades for that particular month, because I used to change on the month-to-month basis, which I recommend everyone to do. Okay. So now, as I told you, first thing is what we have to do is to remove the investment amount. Second thing what we have to do is make some profit cushion. So how will you be doing that? So as I told you, everyone will be starting as a beginner in the market, right? So as a beginner, you have to focus on 1:1 trade. What do I mean by 1:1 trade? That means 10 points on option chart, because we normally buy from 280 rupees to 320 rupees, right? This is what is the purchase, that is premium we purchase for the options. Call, put, doesn't matter, right? So here 10 rupees will be the stop loss and 10 rupees will be the profit. So you'll be booking at the first 10 points gain using this particular part. Now let me say this is very small amount, and how you'll be scaling, like how you'll be making 60 to 80% a profit using only 10 points. See, I'll explain the equation. Okay, you never thought, see what you normally do, like anybody, like including me, what I used to do definitely when I used to make small profit, I used to calculate, okay, today I made 1,000 rupees, so 20 to 13 days. So let's say I make 22,000 per month. Maybe 1 or 2 days I make a loss. So it will be at least 18 to 16k profit. This is how you used to think, right? But you have to always take the real situation. Secondly, I speak with a lot of new traders who contact me, then also a lot of intermediate players as well. So they always want to book like 50 points, 80 points in the options on the minimum side, I'm talking. And they also want 100, 200 points in options. See, even if you book 10 to 20 points a day, that still will double your capital. Not at least double, but it will at least make you 60 to 80% ROI, return on investment. Yeah. So you'll be like, many of you might be surprised, but I'll show you the real equation. Okay, I'll show you the calculations and I'll show you the results as well. Okay. Now, what I told you is we have to book for 1:1. This is the beginner phase. Beginner phase means in which you will be trying to first recover your investment amount. Until unless you remove all your investment account from the market, you won't be considering to the next stage, that is the intermediate stage. Okay, so what is intermediate stage? We'll talk about it, but first understand beginner phase is it's some XYZ quantity started. We'll be discussing how much those quantities will be, but for now let's assume you're buying one lot of Bank Nifty. So you'll be continually using only one lot of Bank Nifty, no matter what amount of profit you're making. Still you continue doing it until unless you recover all the amount which was required to buy that one lot of Bank Nifty. So that means, let's say for example you invested 10k, so you'll be first making 10k of profit. Till then you will be only using 1:1. You will not consider yourself as you have moved to the second stage, that is the intermediate trader level. Okay, currently you are all a beginner level. So try to book 1:1. Now how to do 1:1? I'll show you some sort of live trading video as well. But initially, let's say you buy at 280. First thing what you to do is put the stop loss on the next second, because if you book 10 points, maybe 10 points or maybe 8 points or maybe 12 points, everything is okay. See, profit plus minus is, you can easily handle. But let's say instead of booking 10 points, you book 20 points of SL, that will never help you. Okay, so always remember maximum should be the 10 points. Never lose more than 10 points on that particular trade. So first thing is to apply the 10 point stop loss and then go to the order book, and as soon as you see 10 points in profit, you can exit at market or using limit price, which you are comfortable. Okay, so this is how you'll be first initially booking 1:1 trades. Okay, now consider you did it, and now you actually record all your investment amount. Now you're ready to move to the second stage, that is the intermediate trader. So what do I mean by intermediate trader? It means now your investment amount is out, you're sitting on the profits, and now you're ready to take some higher risk. In this case, you will be increasing your quantities, as well as now you'll be moving to at least 1:2 risk to reward. Okay, what is 1:2 risk to reward? That means initially, as soon as you take the trade, definitely the process will be same. First, you have to put the stop loss, which is minus 10 points. But as soon as you take the trade, market if goes reverse, it might hit your stop loss and 10 points will be lost. So the losses is not changing. The 10-point risk is still same, even if you're beginner or the intermediate player. The risk never changes. Understandable. The profit expansion, that means the capturing of profit points will increase. Okay, so what happens here? 10 points fixed SL, no change in that particular point. But once you see 10 points in profit, here we're not going to book the profits. Like here, if we see 10-point profit, we used to book, right? Immediately we used to book. But when you consider yourself as an intermediate trader, you won't be booking at 10 points of profit. What you'll be doing instead, you'll be trailing the stop loss. So from minus 10 points, you'll be trailing your stop loss to cost. Okay. So now what will happen? You already see 10 points of profit, and now what you did, instead of putting your stop loss here, which was minus 10 point, you move it to cost. So no matter what happens, if the market comes down, you won't be losing the money. Definitely you'll be paying the taxes and brokerage, but that won't be an issue, because initially if you're trading with very small quantities, you'll feel that for one lot of Bank Nifty, somewhere like 60 to 65 rupees is the brokerage amount if you're buying somewhere like 300 rupees of premium. So in that case, if you're buying only one lot, in that case what will happen? You have to at least book 3 points, that is 25, 25, 20. Yes, at least 2.5 to 3 rupees will be the minimum break-even point. What is break-even? That means that is which will be going in your tax and brokerage. Out of 10 points, 3 or 2.5 rupees will be going in your brokerage part, right? But when the quantity increases, okay, the amount required to go for the break-even decreases. I'll show you the example as well. Okay, so we'll move to the the brokerage calculator. Okay, now here is the example. Normally we buy somewhere like 300 rupees premium, and we also, let's say, exited at the cost. If I'm buying 25 quantity, that is the one lot for Bank Nifty. So if you can see, 60 rupees is the net P&L, that is negative. Why? Because 60 rupees was my tax, because I exited at cost. So 60 rupees is the loss even if you exited at cost. But how many points you have to cover in order to cover that particular brokerage? Here if you see, it is 2.5. So for example, if I exit at 2.5, I might be exiting at 0 rupees, right? 1 rupees is basically 0, right? So that means if you want to cover your taxes, currently 2.5 rupees is required. But what if I increase the quantities? Now from 25 quantities, if I move to 50. So if you see, now the tax didn't increase from 60 rupees to 120. I doubled the quantities, but the tax didn't double. The tax went from 60 rupees to 75 rupees. So 1.5 rupees is required in order to cover that particular taxes and brokerage. So if I'm booking 10 points, 1.5 rupees will going into the taxes and brokerage. What if I increase the quantities more? Now what happen if I move to 500 for an example? In that case, only 0.63 paise is required in order to cover your taxes and brokerage. So definitely what I'm trying to explain here is, initially you might think that brokerage is going on the very higher part because 2.5 rupees is a big amount, right? Definitely it is, but we are not thinking for very short term purpose, we are thinking of long term purpose. You will be increasing your quantities along the time. So think little bit on the ahead. Okay, think of the longer vision, or you can say far away vision. Don't think of very short vision, because if you do that, you'll be stuck in a very small part only. You won't be giving yourself a chance to expand or your chances to grow. Okay. So here what we're doing, we are moving it to cost, and as soon as we see 20 points of profit, we are booking it like we used to do here. In the first step, we used to book at 10-point profit, but in the second case, what we're doing, after getting 10 points, we are moving our stop loss to cost, which we call as a trailing, and as soon as we see 20 points profit, we are directly booking it. So second stage is what we call as the intermediate stage, where we are at least booking 1:2 trades. So this is how we increase the risk to reward. But also remember, the accuracy is never changing. The accuracy is same. Even 1:1 we were able to make the profits. Now in 1:2 we'll be making more profits. So now we're expanding. We are basically maximizing the profits. And the last part, which I call is the pro part. So basically from beginner you move to intermediate level. From intermediate you'll be moving to the pro level. What is the pro level? Here basically same thing. 10-point risk. The risk will never change, as I told you, but the reward will be open. Okay, what do I mean by open? See, what happens is, you took a trade here, let's say at 300 rupees. If it goes to 290, you will be hitting your stop loss, right? So 10 points gone, right? Till here, no doubt. But if in case market starts going up, after 300 you bought, market start going up, it goes to 310. The first thing what you should do is, in the same, basically when you're intermediate trader, you'll be trailing your stop loss from 290 to 300 rupees, right? That is cost, CTC, right? This is what you used to do. But once it goes to 20 points, like let's say it goes to 320, here we used to book complete profit in the intermediate level. But now what we'll do, we'll directly shift our cost to 320. So minimum you'll be getting 320, that is 20 points. Or if the market gets a spike, right, maybe it might show you 330, 340, 350. In that case, you will keep trailing for every 10 points. So that means you'll be getting 10 is to, sorry, here you'll be getting 1:4, 1:5, 1:8 trades as well. So this is how you'll be getting a maximum profit, okay, from that particular setup. So one thing, we started with very small risk to reward, that is 1:1. Still looking at the very good accuracy, we were able to make money. After that, in order to expand, in order to maximize the profit, keeping the same risk, we started increasing the rewards. So this is how you're basically maximizing your profit, increasing your business. Okay. So I hope you understood the first topic, that is how you'll be working on the risk to reward. Now let's move to the next topic, that is what we saw as a capital projection. How much capital to start with and how you'll be projecting your capital. And basically sidewise we're also looking how much quantities you'll be buying and selling. Now let's see how you'll be using your capital, how much capital to put, how much quantities to buy, and how you'll be making at least 60 to 80% return on your investments. Okay. So first thing, there is one general rule which I use, and this is what I teach to all my students in the learning course, even in the personal one-on-one training, everywhere. Okay. So what is the basic rule what I follow here is, see, let's say X amount is in your saving account, that is saving account. That means in your bank, okay, not in your trading account. So this is your saving account. Always divide it by 5 or 10. So if you're trading in options, or if you got small capital, divide it by 5. If you got really big account, then divide it by 10. For example, we'll take example. Let's say I got 1 lakh in your saving account, divide it by 5. That means 50,000. So this is your investment which should go into the Demat account. Okay. And let's say if you got more capital, let's say you got 10 lakh, 5 lakh, whatever. I'm just taking a random numbers, okay. So if I divide by 10, that means 1 lakh. So this is what amount you should be starting with in your Demat account. Why this? See, there is a very basic calculation behind it. If you use this sort of methods, what will happen? In that case, in first case, if you got 50k and sorry, it's not 50k, it's 1 lakh divided by 5, that is 20k. Okay, extremely sorry for that. So let's say you start with 20k and you lose your amount. Okay, you make some losses, you make silly mistakes and you lose the amount. still you'll get 4 more chances to again come in market with the same capital. So there is always a chance of recovery. And if you're actually following a good setup and following all the rules and discipline, market is not that bad that it will take all your capital 4 to 5 times continuously. And same case goes with the one who has the higher capital. Let's say one got 10 lakh, he can easily start with 1 lakh. So in that case here he got 9 chances. So if you more towards the safer side, you using 1 lakh also, you can divide it by 10 times and you can start with 10k. So 10k you'll be buying at least one lot. So that's not even a bad. Okay, at least you'll be getting one lot. But if your capital is small, in that case you are not able to purchase even one single lot. In that case you have to wait for your capital to increase and then only bring your capital to the market, so that you'll be trading a little bit more tension free. Okay, everything depends upon the mindsets. So you have to always keep your mindset very cool and calm. Okay, so this is what will be the method by which you'll be putting your money. So what I did when I was starting, see, I can start with a very good amount, but what I did, I saw how much capital normal retailer starts with, and I took an average. Some are starting with 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. So I took an average and I just say, okay, let's start with 1 lakh. But if you saw my results, right, I started initially by just buying the 50 and 100 quantities. That was just hardly investing 30,000 rupees. And then slowly by making small profit, I started using the entire capital, that was 1 lakh. Okay. Now moving to the second part, how much quantities to buy? Like I told you, you'll be using that same formula. So in that case, whatever that formula allows you to buy, you'll be buying. For example, let's say you got 1 lakh and you divided by 10. In that case, how much will be your capital in your Demat account? That will be 10,000. In that case, only one lot you'll be able to buy. And this is what you should be sticking to. Initially, at the starting phase, as a beginner, your focus is not to make money. Always remember that. This is where all the beginners fail. They always come into the market making very huge dreams. So we all respect each and everyone's dream. So there is nothing wrong. I also got like huge dreams, and when I used to say back then, a lot of people used to laugh. Okay, so that's reality. But now the goal seems to be pretty much possible, right? So you also have to focus on the same thing. Initially, one lot is not something by which you'll be making few lakhs. I'll always understand this part. Okay, but initially the focus is to just to make the right trades. If you're able to make the right trade using one lot, in future you have to just add 1 0 towards it. So initially you start with one lot, then you can easily add 0, because you'll be doing the same thing. Nothing has changed. You're just adding 1 0, that makes 10 lot. Then if you get confident, then you are adding 1 0, that makes 100 lot. Then 1000 lot. Not really adding zeros. I'll tell you the process. But basically the scaling up is quite easy. But only the first part, that is the base. This is where you have to focus, and not focus on the profit loss, but to focus on the perfect trades. Perfect trades in the sense that means you're not making losses. That doesn't mean it's a perfect trade. Perfect trade means no matter what happens, you're actually following the rules. Market might hit you SL, market might give you profit, might give you extreme profit, but still you're sticking the rules. That's the only thing we are discussing here. Okay, let's say one more example. You start with 1 lakh and then you divide it by 5. In that case, 20k is the initial amount. In that case, you can buy 2 lots, right? So everybody has different capital. Look how much capital from saving account you can bring to your Demat account, and then how much lots you can buy. Don't worry, if you're using entire 20k, like here the investment will be somewhere like 7 to 9k, right? Here it will be somewhere like 14 to 18k. So that is okay. Some might say no, that is wrong money management. You're utilizing all your capital. No dear, we're not actually utilizing all our capital. We divided our main capital, what we used to think we are bringing in the market, we divided by 10 or 5 times, and then from that amount we're using. So the risk is very minimal on this side. And if you're following the setup, if you're following the risk management, and like I told you, 10 point stop loss, which is fixed, and the reward, which it varies as we keep leveling up. So beginner, it's 1 is to 1, 10 points book, get out of the trade. In 1 is to 2, we go to cost, and then we book 20 points. And in pro phase, we move to cost, but then after that we completely trail to 20 points, and in that case we might get 20 point exit, or you may get 30, 40, 60, 80 points as well. So I book more than 1 is to 8 trades as well for this particular setup. Okay, now moving forward. So this is how much quantities you'll be starting to buy. So the first phase, as I told you as a beginner, is to get the investment amount back. So first month you'll be trading using the same quantity. See, if you make 2 or 3 days good profit, don't immediately increase the quantity. That's the wrong approach. So let's say you start with one quantity, that is one lot, that is 25 quantities for the Bank Nifty I'm talking. So trade the entire month with 25 quantities only, and here you'll be able to make somewhere like 60 to 80% of return. Okay, and let's say after a few days you'll be making the entire 100% return from the market. Remove that capital, again do the same thing. Now 50-60% profit you get, increase the quantities, right? So let's say you start with we'll take a simple example. You start with 10k of amount, that is maybe a one lot. You make 10k of profit, maybe in a month or maybe 1.5 months. That's the max it will take if you follow the simple rule, that is 20 points. I'll explain the concept, don't worry. So here 10k is the profit book, you will remove your 10k profit. Now your investment is out. Second thing, continue doing the same thing because you still got 10k of capital in demat account, right? The profit which you got, you took it out, you took it in the saving account. Okay, so here what you do, you at least will make 3 to 5k profit. Let's say you make 3 to 5k profit here. Now what you'll do, you'll start increasing the quantities, right? How much you can increase? See how much profit you have made, accordingly you can start increasing. At least half you can increase. Let's say total what you made was 15,000, right? So 15,000, that means somewhere like 7,000 could be increased. From 10k you can move your account to 17k. So that means you'll be getting approximately 2 lots to buy. Accordingly you start increasing the quantities. See, definitely we will be multiplying the quantities. So from 25 will be going to 50, from 50 will go to 100, from 100 to 200, 200 to maybe a 500, and then 1000, and then accordingly will be increasing. So this is what method I use. But what I did initially, the quantities were not fixed because I was not deciding how much to capital to invest and how much return to make. But definitely when I was working on the same setup, again I got more clarity, and then I started increasing the quantities in a linear fashion. So from 100 quantities I went to 200, then maybe a half month from 250, because 1 month I was not getting a good profit, so the ROI was little less, so I continued the same quantity. So in that case, let us assume you're trying to trade but you're not able to make the good amount of profit, like 60 to 80 is what I normally assume as a good profit. But let's say you made only 30% return, or maybe even you went to cost. In that case, what you have to do, you have to continue with the same quantities. Never go down on the quantities, because whatever risk you're taking, you already know what amount of risk you're taking. So you'll be increasing very slowly in that case, and will be increasing only when we're making the profits. So you should be never hesitating about increasing the quantities. But once you increase the quantity, never go down on the quantities. Continue the same quantities throughout, no matter what happens. So here, after that I moved to 500 quantities, and then I guess maybe 800 quantities, then I moved to 1000, and then 1200, and currently I'm using something like 1800 quantities, because currently the Bank Nifty has 900 as a freeze quantity. So I'm buying two freeze limits, that is 1800 quantities. And I was planning to go for 2400, but the freeze limit changed. Initially when I was trading here at 1200 quantities, it was the freeze limit 1200 quantities. Now what is the freeze limit? It's very easy. Freeze limit is something, the maximum number of lots which you can enter the market at one time, okay, using one single order book. So that is somewhere like you call it as a freeze quantity. Initially it was 1200, now they reduced it to 900, so I have to move to 1800 quantities. And if this month goes good, then the next month I'll be adding one more lot. Okay, so I don't know what is 9 3s are. I guess it is 9 to the 18. So I'm very weak in maths, don't worry. 9 into 3, so 2700 quantities. Okay, so this is how you'll be increasing the quantities. So always remember, this part goes really quick. Only thing is you have to first focus on this, whatever quantity. See here example, I took 100. Whatever quantities you're planning, you have to first focus on that particular part. Be good in that part, and then the scaling up becomes quite easy. Now the last part. So now let's talk about this 60 to 80% ROI. Is it really possible or not? So see, as I told you, when I speak with a lot of people call me, people ask for help, people ask for advisement, people ask for a lot of things. Okay, but when I ask them about their expectations about the returns or the capital gain or the point they want to capture in Bank Nifty, no one talks below 40 points. Okay, but what if I told you only if you book 20 points per day, still that will make you more than decent amount. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, so to make simple calculations, let's go with 100 quantities. 100 quantities means maybe 4 lots, right? For the Bank Nifty we are talking. So here, what is the premium you buy? That is 280 rupees to 320 rupees. So considering 300 as the average price, right? Fair enough. So 300 into 100, how much is the investment? That is somewhere like 30k, right? So 30k will be investment for the 100 quantities. Now let's go one more step ahead. From 30k capital, you will be buying somewhere like 100 quantities, And what I told, initially you'll be booking only 10 points. So let's say you took only 2 trades. So you have to wait for that perfect opportunity to form in the entire market. And remember, in a worst day, the market will form at least 2 setups. In a good day, the market will form at least 6 to 7 setups of this particular scalping trade. So what you have to do, you have to just patiently wait for the setup to form and then take the trade. Don't do the rush part. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, market is going nowhere. Okay, so 100 quantities, and even if you book 10 point, that makes somewhere like 1k. So if you took 2 trades, that will be 20 points, and there will be somewhere like 2k. So 20 points from 2 different trades, or maybe you might get one good spike, and that is okay. Still will calculate as a 10 points. So somewhere like 2000 rupees will be your income for that particular day if you take 2 trades and conditioning that or both trades went into the profit. Definitely same thing will happen in the negative side of it. There will be a lot of days you will be losing the money as well. So what will be the max limit? 2k. So if you're making 2k profit, it will be making max 2 negative trades, and after that you'll be stopping the trade. Close the system, go out, enjoy your life. Don't worry about it. Next day again come with a fresh mind and we'll start trading again. So what we have to do here is, assuming I show you the accuracy, right? You also seen the console as well. See, this is my ledger. Again I'll refresh it, so you can see my name here. Again I'll refresh it one more time, right? So if you see, this is the from September to August. So if you see, if you count the number of the the losses which I'm taking that particular month, it will vary from somewhere like 5, 6 to maximum 7, 8. So the average comes somewhere like 6. Okay, so this you can calculate. I have already calculated it, but still you can do it. Sometimes the market might be more negative. In that case, you might lose more, but still on an average, you will be not losing more than 6 days. So out of 22 trading days, if you remove the 6 days of negative trade, so 22 minus 6, so that means so 16 trade you will be making on the profit side into your 2k profit. So that means 16 2s are 32, right? If I'm not wrong, again I'll check into 2k, yeah, 32, right? So 32,000 will be the profit. But on the negative side, what it will be? So that will be 6 days of negativeness into your minus 2k. So that will be minus 12k, right? So far so good. Now we'll see what is the overall profit. So that means this 2 goes. So basically it will be somewhere like 20k profit at the end of the month, right? Now we'll be doing simple maths and I'll be using calculator to save our time. So what we're making 20,000 of profit and on the investment of 30,000. So what it is, if you divide by 100, sorry, multiply by 100, the percentage, that is 66%. Okay, so that is the ROI you're getting on the lower side, right? And if you do good trades, in that case, you'll be even getting more than that. I also made I have doubled the account in the I guess 8 to 10 days. In the 8 to 10 days period, I have doubled my account. So this such kind of good days will also come, and some days will be bad as well. See, I'm making you understand each and everything. See, you might be feeling maybe thinking this is taking too long to just explain the simple concept of risk to reward. But understand, everything will fall apart if you don't follow the risk reward. Okay. So if you see here, and talking about the returns, see now I don't know what was the investment previously, but if you come to the last month, so currently we are trading in the November month, so we'll go to the October month. Okay, so first we'll go to October, and what is October? Yeah, October 1 to sorry, 22. Yeah. So now this is the 1 month of P&L. Okay, so what is the P&L? Is somewhere like 2.8 lakhs, and 3.74 was the actual money made, then good taxes on it, and then 2.8 is remaining. Now how much was the investment, right? So if I come here, you will see all trades are doing 1,200 quantities any day. If I take, see, if you see the if you see multiple trade, in that case you can easily assume that there are multiple trades, like 2,400, that means 2 trades have been taken. If you are seeing 4,800, that means 4 trades might be taken. And in Nifty, I use somewhere like 1,800 quantities, which was freeze limit for Nifty. Now it has been changed. Okay, so if you check somewhere like, if you normally if you normally multiply 300 into 1,200 quantities, that is 3,60,000. So that was the approx capital use. But if you see normally the premium, I might not buy more than 300, 310. This is the max premium I'll try to buy in most of the cases. See, any day you go, this is the only thing. Now, if you see, if you try to calculate here, sorry, extremely sorry. Yeah. If you try to calculate, so somewhere like, what was the profit? I forget. Yeah. So it's somewhere like 2,82,000. Okay, so 2,82,000 and divided by 3,60,000, right? into 100. So that is somewhere like 78% return. And this is, see, the actual amount, the capital again will keep on increasing because I'm increasing the quantities, but don't focus on the profit, focus on the ROI. Okay, return on investment, because you'll be making profit as per your capital, not as per my capital, right? So somewhere like 78, so that is like almost, you can, if you make a round figure, that will be somewhere like 80,000 rupees of, sorry, 80% of ROI on that particular capital. And if I'm not considering the taxes and brokerage, in that case it is more than 100%, right? Because 3.6 is the investment, 3.74 is the profit. But I'm never talking about this profit, because this is not the real profit which I'll be getting in my pocket. This is the money which I'll be getting in my pocket. So don't underestimate the risk to reward, the risk management, and the position sizing, everything which I taught you now. It's really helpful. You have to grow in that phase, in that manner only. So if you look here at any losing day, right, 1200 quantity, that means it's a one single trade. I bought at 306, I exited at 296. That is 10 points. The risk will never change, no matter when the quantities increase, no matter when the quantities were less. Like for example, if I go to the previous trading days when the capital was smaller, the quantities were smaller, you might think that time I might be taking higher risk, right? But that's not the case. I'll show you. So we go to any random dates. Okay, we go to here. That is somewhere like I don't know what the date is. 18th of Jan. Okay, no matter. Just we'll go down and we'll see where is the quantity. So here I'm using somewhere like 500 to 600 quantities on the particular trade. So 325 I bought, sorry, 326 I bought, 316 I sold. 321 I bought, 311 I sold. That is 10 points of risk. The risk is not changing. Always understand that the risk is not changing. It is always 10 points. So if I go to very good day, like maybe a 57,000 profit, that time is good. So also if you see, okay, this is a 0 to hero trade and this is a profitable trade. Some negative day will choose. Yeah, okay. We already saw this. No. Yeah, 1000 quantities, 320 I bought, 3010 I sold. That is 10 points. It went negative. I sold that particular quantities. I'm not holding when the trade is going wrong. Always, as soon as I take a trade, I'm putting the stop loss first, and after that only I'm trying to trail the stop loss or might try to book the higher profit. Always remember this. The risk to reward should never change. So the moral of the story here is, no matter what happens, no matter which strategy you're using, no matter how much quantity you're putting, how much capital you're putting, the risk to reward is something which you have to follow till the end. Okay. No matter, see, initially there were small quantities, then the quantities keep on increasing. Still, the risk is 10 points. It is not getting changed. But the reward is getting changed. Initially, I was booking 10 to 10 points. Then I started trailing it to 10 to 20 points. And then now it is completely like on the open target. Once I get 20 points, I'm switching it to 20 points of profit. If market goes up, it gives me good profit. If market comes down, at least I'm making 1:2 trades. So this is how you'll be scaling up the capital. So now I like to conclude about this particular strategy. Definitely I'll be adding some live trading videos, but now whatever the learning points was required to understand this strategy has been completed. I hope you understood it. If in case you got any sort of doubt, first make sure to ask it, get it clear, and then only trade, because no matter how big or small capital you got, it is always a limited capital. So ask it. I'll share some contact links below so that you can easily contact with me and get all your doubts and queries cleared. And now I hope, and I don't hope, I basically wish you all the best for this particular trading strategy and your trading career. Thank you so much for joining me. See you soon.